Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for the UK's Migration Advisory Committee. If they keep acting like this, me and them are going to be like this. And this is why. Stay tuned. Stop that. Hi guys, welcome once again to my channel. My name is Anel Griselda. On this channel, I talk about nursing, I talk about migration, I talk about life in the UK as an immigrant, and opportunities for people to relocate abroad. Okay, so if these are topics that interest you, please consider subscribing. So today I'm going to talk about a major update on the UK's family visa requirements. There's been this major update, and I'm sure you're all wondering why. Now, before we get into it, let me briefly explain what a family visa is. So if you're settled in the UK, that is if you have indefinite leave to remain in the UK, or you have a British passport, okay, and then you want to invite a family over to the UK to stay for more than 6 months, you need what we call the family visa. You can use this family visa to apply for your spouse, or you can use it to apply for your parents or your children, okay, from other countries to join you in the UK for long periods, and eventually they also have a pathway to also become citizens like yourself, okay. Somebody might ask, what is the difference between the family visa and a dependent visa? So those that apply for dependent visa are those that are on temporary visas, like a student visa, like a skilled worker visa, etc. For you, when you apply for your spouse or your children to join you, you yourself, you're on a temporary visa, you don't have settled status, and you don't have citizenship. However, for somebody who is British, let's say they go online, they fall in love with a beautiful Ghanaian queen like myself, and they want to bring the person over from Ghana to, you know, maybe get married, have babies and all of that, they don't have to apply for dependent visa. They have to apply for family visa, okay, for a spouse. So this is the family visa. Many years ago, I remember when I came to the UK, if you want to apply for, let's say, a family visa to bring your spouse over or something, you needed to be earning around 18,000 a year to be able to bring them over, and that was okay, you know. So if you're doing any minimum wage job, you could at least bring the person over to join you. Now, the previous government said that they kept increasing it over a period of time. They kept increasing it gradually, and eventually their aim was to increase it to over £39,000 per year. So meaning, if you don't have a job that is paying you around £39,000 a year, you cannot bring anybody who is a non-British national to join you in the UK on a family visa. This means that your job should be paying you nothing less than £18 an hour. I asked you, my brothers and sisters watching me, how many jobs in the UK pay this amount? Not much. So that means it was going to be extremely difficult for you to be able to bring your family over. And it's not even just British people who find love online or whatever. If you came to the UK on a skilled worker visa, let's say when you came, you were not married, and then along the line you got your ILR, right? And now you're going to bring, say, your ex-lover from Nigeria to join you as your wife or your whatever. Now, because you are now settled, because you have ILR, you need to apply for a family visa. And if let's say you came as a carer and you're earning less than 28,000, what they're telling you is that you won't be able to bring anybody in because you're not earning 39,000 a year. So this was ridiculous. But now what has happened is that the Migration Advisory Committee, as usual, they have gone back to review this requirement, this minimum income requirements for the family visas, and they're saying that this is ridiculous. Now, let me say that the new government, Keir Starmer's government, they were not going to increase it like what the previous government wanted to do. For them, they said they were going to keep it at £29,000. But even this, is it feasible? Is it realistic? Will a lot of people be able to meet this requirement? Okay. Now, when the MAC reviewed this, they have a whole report. Okay, it's quite a huge report. I think it's over 90 pages. It's very detailed. Obviously, this video is just a summary of that report. Okay, but I'm going to leave the report in the description below so that you can access it and read it for yourself. But like I said, this video is just a summary. Okay, so the previous government, they said they were doing this just to maintain the economic well-being of the country, because they didn't want to bring people in and they'll become burden on the system and they'll start seeking benefits here and there and all of that. So that's why they did that, right? Now, the MAC in their report, they said that, let me read it. They acknowledge that there's no simple technical answer to certain financial requirements to neatly balance the UK's economic well-being with the right to family life. They said there is no way to neatly balance this, okay? Any such decision involves complex social, ethical, and fiscal trade-offs. So they said that they were going to explore the trade-offs in detail, and they were going to use 4 different approaches. So we're going to use assessing the standards of living. They were going to use alignment with the welfare system, overall fiscal impact on public services, and comparisons to average earners. Okay, so now they are saying that in the report, the MAC is saying that they are recommending to the Home Office that they cannot give a definite amount that somebody should be earning before they can bring their spouse or their children to join them in the UK when they are settled or when they are citizens, right? But then they are saying that a reasonable range for the sponsor, that is a person who is in the UK settled or citizen, a reasonable range for that sponsor's income should should be between £19,000 a year and £28,000 a year, which is very good. So they have drastically reduced this. And what this means is that if anybody is on the national minimum wage, okay, they are earning, let's say, £10 or £11 an hour, they would be able to meet the requirements with ease. Simple. Okay, so they are saying that a threshold at this level will allow most British workers in full-time minimum wage jobs to qualify, the MAC is saying. So now everybody deserves to have their rights to family life. Okay, so the fact that somebody is working in a warehouse and they're earning £11 an hour does not mean that they should not be able to bring their spouse over to join them. That is not fair. And this is what the MAC has done, and I think they deserve a round of applause, honestly. Now, they are saying that although a higher minimum income requirement threshold is going to reduce net migration, which is what the UK is looking for, they are saying that this could also increase the number of families that are affected by separation and hardship. Okay, because listen, if you allow, let's say I'm in the UK, right, and let's say I have a child, okay, and I am earning £11 an hour, so let's say I don't meet the requirement to bring my spouse to join me. Now, it means that my child, my British child, is going to be raised without a father because I'm not earning enough. Now, another thing is that if you raise a child, I'm probably going to leave the child with other people, with friends, in bad company, so that I can work extra hard to settle my rent, to settle my bills, utilities, and all of that, and take care of that child. So in the end, it's going to affect the family mentally, psychologically, and affect the child as well. Now, let me read what they said. They said that, however, the MAC also added that when they consider that if they bring the person, that means this person, right, will be able to grow or live in the family house with their spouse and their children, which is going to have a positive impact on them mentally, emotionally, physically, and even financially. Because remember, if it is two people or two adults taking care of kids in the household, they're probably going to have jobs each, okay, and they are going to contribute to pay the bills together. They're going to help in taking care of the kids together. So the overall impact, and the children are going to grow up with both parents in the house. We've seen a lot of children end badly because they were from single homes, and then the other parent was struggling and therefore neglected them in a way. So the MAC did not just look at the fact that the UK wants to reduce their net migration. They actually went deeper to understand exactly what and how this affects migrant families, or how this affects British people living in the UK with their families abroad. And I think this is excellent. They have done so well. The MAC also raised doubts about whether assessing only the sponsor's income provides a complete picture of a family's financial situation. The MAC is saying that you cannot just say that because the person inviting the other person over does not earn much, it means when they come they'll struggle. Have you thought that the person coming probably has a degree in, let's say, engineering, or is an AI professional or whatever, and is probably going to get a good job and also support the family, and even now they will earn maybe 10 times more than what they were earning before? So don't just consider the person in the UK's annual earnings, consider the potential earnings of the one who's coming to join as well. You understand? So that just the sponsor's income is not a true picture of the family's financial situation. And I agree totally with them, guys. They're saying that children that are raised in homes with, let's say, single parent, because let's say their mothers or their fathers are not earning enough to be able to bring the other parent over, is going to deeply affect the children psychologically, emotionally, mentally, and these children are going to have feelings of rejections, and it's going to be going to affect them in the future, whether we like it or not. So now these are the recommendations and then the reports that the MAC has presented to the Home Office, okay? And like, everybody's applauding. If you go online, everybody and even NGOs and stuff that were already giving support to such families are already, applauding the MAC for this detailed review that is going to be of help to so many families. And it's like, where is the lie in this? Where is the lie? It's just so perfect, okay? So now what I'm saying is that they said that, if the person, the sponsor, is earning between 19,000 a year, 28,000 a year, they should be able to bring their spouse to join them in the UK, or their children to join them in the UK, or let's say their parents to join them in the UK. And this is great, okay? By the way, if you're in the UK, Canada, the US, okay, and you have family in Ghana, Nigeria, Benin, Togo, Cameroon, or any of the countries listed on the screen right now, and you need to send money to any of your family members in, these countries, make sure you're using LiFi. LiFi is a money transfer app that allows you to send money from the UK, Canada, and the US to any of these countries. And the good thing about LiFi is that there's no transaction fee, and they have the best and they have highly competitive rate. When you use a referral code NANEL, you'll be able to get $20 cashback or €20 cashback if you send £100 or above in your first transfer. Okay, you can download LiFi with the link in the description, whether you use an Android or whether you use an iOS. Ever since I discovered LiFi, that's what myself and my family have been using, and I can testify that they are just the best, honestly. If you know LiFi, I mean, now times are hard. Avoid using any transfer app that is going to steal your details later and use it to scam you. LiFi is approved by the UK Financial Conduct Authority and they are just the best. Okay, so send money now using LiFi and let me know what you think. Guys, one more time, a round of applause for the UK Migration Advisory Committee. So basically, there's more to it, okay? But this is just a brief review of it, okay? Download the full report with a link in my description or read the full report online, okay? But here is just the basic summary. There's more to come. Always here to update you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.